I've been thinking about AI and what's been going on, and basically, AI is getting more and more developed, and it's probably going to take a bunch of jobs, but in the long term, there's a concern that, well, this might sound silly, but the cost of doing the same physical labor with a powered by electricity is cheaper than the cost of paying a person enough to feed themselves and have a home and just take care of themselves, at least even in a minimal way, which means that, you know, the only limit to once we're advanced enough, the only limit to any kind of practical job being replaced is the the time it takes to make enough kind of robots to do it. And we're also going to develop more and more human-like robots over time that might look like people. They might be warm, you know? They might just completely have a human appearance. Especially if we succeed as a species in creating an intelligence that's far greater than our own, that will hasten the speed of technological development. And a lot of new things will come out very quickly that people might not even understand how they work or why they work, but they work. And we already see that today, just as a slight tangent, that in most things, even the simple version of ChatGPT that we have today, GPT-4, a new one is allegedly coming out this summer, even that simple version is better at most things than most people are. It's a better lawyer than most people. It's a better medical expert than most people. It's a better engineer than most people. It's a better physicist than most people. And in some things, computers have always been better than all people, like being a calculator, for example. So we're kind of on a quick race at this point to outpace ourselves, the human species. I mean, that's what it seems like to me. We're making things that do things better than we do ourselves. It seems kind of tragic to me, because why are we fighting so hard to replace ourselves and make ourselves obsolete? I don't really get it. I mean, surely there are some benefits to technology that we have yet to discover, and new scientific research and technological advancement can help humanity in a number of ways, but we're doing okay with the technology we already have. And it's true that I'm not concerned about people shifting from one job to another and some jobs opening and closing and others opening. I'm concerned about the point where the only jobs remaining that are done better by a human are the ones where we just have a personal preference for a human doing it, like robots and AI can do anything, but we just prefer to have a human waitress. What kind of jobs are actually going to be left at that point? Like, what will humanity be? Just like waitresses, I don't know, maybe some musicians and prostitutes. I don't know, but who's gonna pay the musicians if almost all the jobs are gone? I mean, can we survive as a species on only the jobs left that we kind of don't need but just arbitrarily prefer a human to do? Is that gonna work? I wonder what's gonna happen. I don't have an answer, but it seems like some people are gonna have a bunch of resources, a bunch of robots, and if you have all of the robots, you have the power, kind of literally militarily as well, right? There's gonna be potentially kind of robot battles. I don't know what's gonna happen, but there's always competition in the world, whether it's between countries, between different people within the same country. There's a tendency for humans to compete. What is that world gonna look like? I don't know, but my main thought is, I don't know, maybe it's gonna be fine. But why are we racing so hard to jump into this like new phase of humanity that we seem not well adapted for and won't be for a very long time? I mean, I'm talking about, it might take us generations before we're even, it takes sometimes generations to even be accustomed to current technology, I think. Sometimes the parents don't totally get it, and the kids finally get it after living in that world for a while, but they're not the voters because a lot of voting people are older. So only once those people become older do you have like a full kind of population of voting people who are accustomed to the current day. But if technology keeps changing, then that those new young people are growing up again in a different world, and the older people might not be good judges of what should happen in that world. And some things are just only learned generationally. Like, we're still kind of figuring out, how do we live with phones that try to pull our attention away from us? Or should we? Or like, what do we do with that? Do they cause like mental health issues? Or what's the deal? How should we deal with that stuff? It's all real world considerations. We're still adapting to the technology of the past, like the somewhat recent past. And it seems like, is it a good idea to blast us into the technology of the future already? I don't know, man. But to me, it feels like a lot of people working on artificial intelligence, it's like a bunch of smart clowns, a bunch of intelligent idiots who are single-mindedly accelerating humanity into a new phase of its existence that I don't know if we're ready for or not. Without the consent of everyone else in the world, you know, does everybody want this new phase of humanity? Generally, the answer is no. We don't want like major phase changes that we don't know what they're going to be. And they're just, you know, people are just plodding along. Yes, let's make this algorithm better and better, and this one better, and find new algorithms and recurrent neural networks and transformers, as I've been learning about recently. What's going on? Like, why is everybody pushing so hard to bring us to this new phase of humanity? And I guess the answer is competition. People want to be recognized for doing a thing that changed, you know, was a breakthrough, and people want to make money, and people want to feel smart by researching something that has a reputation for being difficult, or by getting through a relatively mathematical challenge or something. But, you know, not all mathematical people, just because you're mathematical, apparently doesn't mean you have a broader sense of what makes sense to do. And I don't trust these people with the moral judgment. I am a theoretical physicist, so I don't say that out of lack of understanding. I don't trust them with the moral judgment of whether we're ready for this or not, and I don't think that we are. I'm scared about the future.